is going to talk about when we talk about the failures and successes is how is it actually measurable, meaning a measurable impact to the subordinate, the person who's supposed to be receiving this, and how well is it received. And this was actually a learning lesson for me last week, because again, at work, I'm in a position where I am basically just streamlining the whole business and make it more efficient. And so some of the how I've been doing it is looking at every part of the process, what makes the big wheel turn around. And I'll get to my point of how we actually do it. But well, we're here. I'll just go right into it. What it is that people are missing is that they need to understand the big picture. Sometimes we don't always see it at the working bee level, like all of our guys that are sales or operations people at my business, what we're doing, and they don't understand why some of the changes are implemented. So when I go through it and I'm actually making these changes, well, how I find what is the right change, well, I look at the failure first. But instead of going directly to the person this last month and like discuss it, educate them, what I've been doing from a business perspective is implement it in a process change. And so there's been a lot of changes to how we do things as a business in terms of our day-to-day process. And one of the comments I got on Thursday was, I heard from an employee, well, if Dan doesn't get his way, it's a problem. So I had to address that right away. I go, okay, so this is what people are seeing and taking with all these changes, because it's hard for the workers, the guys that are getting the day-to-day stuff done, to adjust, sometimes change, or even deal with the hard discussions about those failure points and stuff. So instead of doing that, I decided, no, we're going to implement it the right way, fix the business first. And so I heard that. So how I addressed it was simple. I walked right into the operations office and I said, hey, so I heard you guys have a problem that you're saying that if I don't get my way, it's a problem here. I go, well, let me explain something. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about this business. And I had to give them a big overview of what their job, their role, and how this big wheel turns and why we're making these changes, and really how important their job is to this big complete cycle. And that was the only thing I could do, and I think they accepted it well, because I walked out like a boss, and I just left it at that. So I think they accepted it well and understood better. Yeah, I didn't give them a chance to respond. I didn't want to hear their shit and hear them rebuttal about, I didn't say that. Wait, I didn't want to hear that.
Was there a bit of this? Boof.
Pretty much.
Good. Hey, there's a time and place for everything. You know.
To your point, that I think they need to understand the big picture of how important it is of what their role does to complete this big mission for you guys. EOD, the mission. I'm still a mission oriented guy. I look at my civilian job like that. I want everyone to look at it like, hey, you're a big part. You're a big part of this overall mission here. And that's my only approach to it. So I hope it was effective.
I bet that was probably the first time anyone took the time to explain the entire process to them.
Well, that's it, Bill. That's exactly it that I learned from that, actually. So that's my talking point with the owners on Monday, is that in our training process, as part of the new orientation, we're going to give a better overview of that and really emphasize on that so that they do understand the importance of their role before they're into it day to day, which I think was something they missed, because it is a young company. Yeah, thanks for that.
B-Rad.
So we're coming up on 2 hours, and just kind of looking at trying to find a way to wrap it up here in a bit, just because it's a lot of video for me to edit. I love talking to you guys, but then I got to go back through this and chop it up so it's in bite-sized chunks too. And honestly, like 2 hours is probably good. I mean, we could talk about this for years. So I just want to give everybody one last opportunity to chuck a couple ideas out. I'll throw this one out there. Chew on it a little bit, say something if you want or don't, and continue on with your own idea, whatever. But this is just a really cool quote from Emotional Agility, which Dave LaRiva recommended a long time ago. And I found myself coming back to this book quite a bit. But essentially, the short of it, I'm not going to read a quote, but there's this lady that founded this super successful women's wear company. she became a billionaire, and she talked about how she embraced failure. So that's kind of like one of what my going out thing is on this, is to embrace failure, right? And what I will read directly so I don't screw it up. At the dinner table each evening, her father would say, "So tell me how you failed today." And that question was not designed to demoralize her. Instead, her father meant to encourage his children to push the limits. It was okay, even admirable, to stumble when trying something new and difficult. So I think that's a good way to reframe failure. So if you guys want to throw something out there on that thought, go ahead. If you guys got something else you want to talk about with failure, please do.
I thought I'd actually raise my hand for once instead of just jumping out there. I saw a saying that we've all used as bomb techs, especially in advanced access and disablement or advanced IEDs or whatever, is if you ain't dying, you ain't trying. And in training, that's huge. You have to understand your limits. And I know that I always wanted to find that, okay, is this going to work? They taught us how to attack manually disarm, a device, and in the movies we're always cutting wires and all that stuff. And at what point are we going to actually train to that? And of course, you don't want the first time that you do something like that to be when it's your life on the line, but rather the flipboard at A&Ds on how many times your team died, right? And I took it as a point of pride if that number was up there a little bit, because that meant we were trying, right? Trying new things, and I always encourage that. And that's a little harder to communicate in the civilian world now. In my position, being retired military, I have that pension that pays the mortgage, right? So I think that provides me a little more freedom to speak freely in the office, and and I've got a great boss who encourages that sort of direct feedback and all that. But yeah, you're not going to learn how you succeed if you never ever fail. So those are my cents that are two.
I've been doing a lot of reading on Stoicism and different philosophies that cover this kind of topic, and something that I've come to learn is that failure is an inherent part of life. It's a beautiful aspect of life, because it is something, it introduces a process that can be self-revealing and can help you find who you really are and what you're really made of, And I've, 41 years of age, I have to remember how old I am. 41 years of age, and I still, to this point, refuse to take my ball and go home, right? I want to, no matter what, no matter how hard the lesson is or the pill that has to be swallowed, I want to go through that process and then find something new about myself that I didn't know before. So I hope that's something that never changes in me. But I can tell you that up to this point, it has been something that has been something that I've been able to derive the most beautiful aspects of my life, has been to never backing down from this process. And I hope that people can see that when they have to face their own failures. Sometimes they're very, very hard to face, but that it is a beautiful part of life, and we should learn to embrace it.
I'll go. My last point to today's topic, I'd say that failure and success equate to growth. And it kind of aligns with some of the things A-Rod's saying here, and all the things that we've ever talked about in these group chats in terms of growing from traumatic experiences. Well, it goes in hand in hand with success and failure. When we fail, obviously we grow from that. We learn and grow from those failures. But when we succeed, we grow by helping others, sharing what we learn, what works, what doesn't work, and that's the type of culture I'm trying to build at the company I'm with now. Is exactly that. Is being able to share that growth with others and sharing we're all high performers. So that's my point.
To summarize it, I think success and failure are opposite sides of the same coin. There's a fine line between success and failure, and that the environment at the time, space and time usually determines which one it is, but that can change over time as well. But I think they're very closely related, and I don't think you can have one without the other. So that's what I have.
Exactly, Bill. I'm glad you threw that up there just because we got to embrace it.
We do. And remember a few years back, there was some chatter that the Navy was trying to take that motto away or some bullshit, and the huge fallout from that. And that lesson is so the new techs need to understand that those two things, success and failure, are very closely linked. And Mario, it's not just the different sides of the same coin, it's literally on the coins. So yeah, it's a huge part of what we do.
Makes me think.
And I wanted to say hi to Rebecca as she was walking past.
Makes me think of Full Metal Jacket when you write "Born to Kill" in your helmet and wear a peace button. What's wrong with you?
Something about the duality man, sir.
Youngkin thing. Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. I'm going to hit the stop recording button almost right on 2 hours. Feel free to hang out. We can shoot the shiz without the recording. But thanks everybody for joining. And this was an awesome conversation.